gentlemen, what was the first computer you used, and what was the first ever phone that all of you have used? We are very sure that most of you, just like all of us, our first computer was powered by Microsoft, and our first phone ever was Nokia, the strongest phone. Even if it dropped from the third floor, it still survived. A very good afternoon to the honorable judges and members of the audience. We are from Taylor's University, Malaysia, and we are here today to present to you about Microsoft. Microsoft started off at a garage with only two people, and they were once a king. They were the forefront of the technological breakthrough, and now they are a giant. They are financially strong, and they have two strong and growing business division, that is the server and enterprise cloud business, and also the entertainment and devices division. However, we know that they failed to adapt to the shift of the consumer needs, the shift to mobile phones, the shift to tablets, the shift to mobile operating systems. And now we are at a junction. Should we stick on to the online platform, which is failing, or do we go on and embark on a new journey, that is the mobile devices platform, that is to successfully develop a strong cloud business platform, a strong operating system? And recently they have acquired Nokia. And these two companies, they are iconic. We want to rekindle their glory, the glory they once had. And ladies and gentlemen, we are here today to present to you how do we successfully implement the One Microsoft strategy. And we have identified 3 challenges, which is grouped into human resource issues, that is number 1, management issues, number 2, cultural issues, and last but not least, the post-acquisition issues. And our vision here today is to make Microsoft an integral part of everyone's lives. And our agenda will be divided into 4 today. Management issues will be further analyzed by Renee, along with the proposal of our solutions. And then cultural issues and post-acquisition issues will be analyzed by Jean. And then Alexis will come on and propose our future direction. Now, without further ado, I would like to invite Renee.
Ladies and gentlemen, our very first problem of HR issues is management issue. Why do we say that the management issues is a big issue? First of all, it was because of the politics as well as the employees. In terms of the politics, why is it politics? First of all, the structure itself has been divided into 4 areas as shown above, which include OS, application, cloud, as well as the devices. And each team itself have their own finance, marketing, R&D, and a lot more. Without this integrated system inside them, they are unable to make an efficient decision. For example, imagine that Microsoft itself have a 1 billion fund, and they have to share among these 4. Not only sharing, they have to fight for it, to compete to get the funding itself, which means it is improper in a way that, who knows, OS might get more as compared to other like cloud as well as devices. This will actually motivate people to actually compete with each other, trying to outcasting each other. This is a major problem. And secondly, in terms of employees, they are practicing a bell-shaped performances. Look at it in this way. Out of 10 employees, 2 out of 10 employees in a team that are working alone. In a team that work itself, what happened is, in a team that work, from no matter how good they are, the highest one will actually get the higher perform one will get the benefits, whereas the lower perform one will actually being eliminated or even have the risk of getting rid out from the company, leave the company in other words. So in a team itself, no matter how good they are, there are tendencies that 2 of them are going to get leave from the company. So this indirectly is wrong because it will lead to slow process in decision making and loss of talent. Why is it slow in decision making? Reason because with all these politics and employees, they are unable to make a faster decision that will help them to stay forefront in the industry itself, and this is not benefiting to the company. Whereas loss of talent, back to the years before when they are in their crowning glory, they are the top 8 companies that all the people that wanted to work into. But within years itself, from top 8, they fall down to 75 companies that don't want to work, the employees don't want to work in that company. And this directly shows that because of this, the bell-shaped performance itself had led most of the people don't want to go into this company itself. Hence, the solutions for this will be, for the politics itself, is they're going to break it down into a centralized system whereby only the marketing, finance, and others will be centralized. The other likely for engineering, in which includes OS, application, cloud, and devices. Each of them will have their own managing team, but they'll be centralized in terms of finances, marketing, and etc. Which means for each team, for each of the centralized system, they'll be having their one leader to lead all of them. These are the solution. In our rationale, we feel that it's good. They should continue in this way because why? This will actually encourage further adoption of understanding the consumer needs, and also they can respond faster in decision making. This will actually help them to stay competitive, and this will actually coordinate all their processes as well as help them to regain their crowning glory. Not to mention, this will also eliminate of the competition among each other, whereby they will compete with each other in order to get the 1 billion fund, for example. And this will help them to make sure that they understand the consumer better in a way. And secondly, for the incentive structure wise, is another way of saying that it's a performance appraisal approach, which means it is no longer a bell-shaped performance whereby the higher perform will get a better, whereas the low perform get a chance of leaving the company. So in the incentive structure, we'll have a team reward, but not to mention, of course, we'll be rewarding the individual performance as well. In terms of having this team reward as well as the individual performances, it will help to encourage collaboration among the team members, because back in those days, each people are trying to compete with each other. Even if I have a grand idea, I wouldn't share with another person. Why? Because if I share them, they have tendencies of taking my idea and propose, and they might be one of the high perform and I might be low perform. This is posing a threat. Whereas in this team reward and individual performances, it encourages collaboration, encourages negotiations among each other, and this is healthy for the company to move forward, and this is the right way for the company to move forward as well. How are we going to reward them? In other words, will be in short term, we'll be giving them like increase in bonuses, as well as if they propose a very good idea, a very grand idea, what we're going to do that we're going to endorse them as a project manager, and the project itself, can you imagine that person itself giving all his effort in planning and everything? Of course, they are allowed to run their own project. They will be the project management for their own project and idea that they give up. This is in the short term, but in long term, we are going to award them with shares. For example, if you work with us for 5 years, your share is going to increase. The share price being given to the employees itself will be increased. Hence, this is really imperative for the company to move forward in terms of the management issues of politics and employees. Not to mention, this will help them to shape the culture as well as a culture that promotes the company to move forward, in which my colleague here, Jean, will take over. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee. Ladies and gentlemen, during Microsoft's crowning glory days, when they were still a small company that's highly innovative, they were driven to be innovative, to be creative. But today, they have grown complacent. They have become so structured and so rigid that innovation is something that they are not cultured to do. So today, we propose that we want to lead them back to be more innovative, the freedom to be creative. We believe that as we give them the flexibility of flexible working hours, we give them a sense of belonging, they will want to work and to be innovative for the company. For example, Intel, for their programming and their design departments, what they have is they have flexible working hours. They can come in and go whenever and however they like. They are not so structured and rigid that they must come in a suit and a tie, to do their programming in front of a computer. No, what they do is you are free to do however you want as long as you give results. We want them to be innovative again. This is one goal that even the CEO is aiming for them to do. We want them to have the sense of belonging. How are we going to do this? By giving them team building activities, random outings, maybe a company picnic, for example. And by doing this, they build a relationship with one another, and they're able to be working together, working well with the other colleagues. Not only that, they also enjoy their job. They'll be happy at where they are. We want to ignite the passion for Microsoft once again. We believe that with the incentive structures that Rudy has already mentioned, that these cultural issues can be solved and will push Microsoft to be better and bigger than before. The next issue that we are facing is the issue of post-acquisition of Nokia. Any two companies that combine, that has been acquired, will face plenty of issues. What more, two companies that is as large as Nokia and Microsoft. Nokia has 32,000 staff, whereas Microsoft has 100,000 staff. This is a lot of people to manage, and it's a lot of people to combine together. They have different cultures, different mindsets, they are different in the way they work. But we believe that this should not be the issue. Nokia staff are worried that they will lose their jobs. They are worried that what they have right now will not be the same after acquisition by Microsoft. However, Microsoft is not planning to fire anyone. We do not want to just take over the company and forsake the brand. What we are looking for is to have this brand, to have Nokia, so that we can have a full ecosystem. We want to maintain the talents and to make Nokia a part of this bigger, happier family. We are able to give them many other benefits such as fundings, and we have the technology, the software, the R&D. Microsoft is a company that's financially very stable already, and we are able to finance Nokia to be better. Nokia, they have tried to venture into the smartphone market. How many of you actually remember Symbian? It was one of the oldest smartphone operating systems that ever existed. Personally, I used a Nokia smartphone as well, and it was good for about 2 months, 3 months, and then it started lagging. For me to go to the messaging app, it takes 2 minutes of waiting. It's so much easier to just call, right? So we believe that by Microsoft having this brilliant software, their expertise in software, and we are able to combine these two big brands to make a better and bigger product. Nokia is good for its hardware. As mentioned earlier, if you drop it from the 3rd floor, you'll still be intact. It still can be used. Drop it in the toilet bowl, it still can be used. Take your Apple iPhones these days, try dropping it in a toilet bowl, and you will have a piece of plastic. So what we suggest is that Nokia and Microsoft be something that is never seen before. Hardware and software, both good. They are indeed a marriage made in heaven. We know, yes, we are, like I mentioned earlier, we are not going to take over the company. We do not want just the labor force. We want Nokia as a phone itself. They will still be running under their own division. And we as Microsoft, we are not going to be on, our brand is not going to be on Nokia phones. We will be in the Nokia phones. For example, like a tank, Nokia phones is hardy, is tough like a tank, and we are the fuel and the ammunition. So with that, let's start the next.
Thank you, Jean. Now, to tie back everything into the overarching goal that 2 CEOs of Microsoft want for the company, Steve Ballmer, the One Microsoft strategy, and Nadella's mobile first, cloud first strategy. I'm going to tell you how we envision the way forward for Microsoft and Nokia, this marriage. Now we are going to build the Microsoft ecosystem brick by brick. And can we start with the first brick, please? First order of business is when we looked at all the businesses that Microsoft has. The first one that was in question, the only one that is in question right now is Bing, like a division that's not only not making profits, but is making losses. amounting to $190 million losses. So first order of business is for Microsoft to evaluate this brick, and whether or not this brick is central to their strategy of One Microsoft and mobile first, cloud first. So upon reevaluating Bing, we need to understand just one thing. Can Bing and the online advertising division be made into a non-loss division? If it can be made into a non-loss division, it can be kept. And then we can come up with future plans for that division later. But if cannot, then we recommend it be shelved. Now, can we go to the next bit, please? Now, the first interesting thing now would be Microsoft's venture into the mobile and telecommunications industry. Now, this is one that has taken the world by storm, has eroded PC sales, and is eating into Microsoft's market. And that's why it's so important for Microsoft to gain a share in this new market to offset the loss that they're incurring in the PC market. So, first thing, after acquiring Nokia, how do they make sure Nokia phones powered by Microsoft is widely used by the world and has wide market acceptance? First thing, telco collaborations with telecommunications companies where we can offer Microsoft-powered Nokia phones at a cheaper price, lower price, because we need to understand our idea of acquiring Nokia was not to make profit from Nokia, but to incorporate Nokia into our ecosystem. Now this is the first step. We have telco collaborations, and the next thing would be to develop the expertise that Nokia has in making great phones, like the new Nokia Lumia, the huge yellow phone that a lot of people in Taylor's University have been using. It is a very sexy phone that a lot of people love. But this is something Nokia is capable of doing, and developing this further, and with and how do we talk about vendor relations? Vendor relations, their main concern is Microsoft will be competing with them. They are vendors which we want to use for them to use Microsoft operating systems. However, how do we address the fact that Microsoft is eating into their market share? Simple. We make this free for them. It's an operating system. Same as they can choose Android, they can choose Microsoft, but we offer them more. We'll offer them better linkage to our PCs, easier, better services, better connectivity to PCs, better adaptability, more versatility to attract better customers. Now we'll prove this first with our Nokia phones. User experience with Nokia phones will be a pioneer. Now next break. Cloud. Interesting thing, this is the next step. How do we tie all this together? The cloud is the next step. We have Windows Office, very successful. Everyone uses it. We have pictures, music, contacts, your phones. We envision Microsoft using cloud, just like Android, to store all your information, your pictures, your contacts, your music, and to integrate it back into Windows Office. The fact that you can open your Word files that you opened in your office through your phone to check. The fact that all your contacts are synced through your phone, you can access on your emails. This is something that will allow consumers great versatility, great user friendliness. And the moment they step in, they cannot step out. Imagine your 5,000 pictures on your phone in our cloud, your 700 friends, contacts, emails, date you met them, all information in our cloud. How do customers escape? Now this is the next step. Last break, please. Last break. Integration of all our products. After we've successfully launched into the mobile devices, after we've successfully launched a cloud system that can integrate our office, our phones, our computers, we integrate them further into a seamless system where computers, tablets, mobile phones, entertainments, and apps are all synced. Imagine your computer can access your entertainment hub at home, your Xbox. Your phone, you can check what DVDs if you recorded. This is the last stage that Microsoft has to aim for, because once we reach this stage of integration where each of these platforms are linked to each other, this is a full ecosystem that consumers cannot leave and will be attracted to. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as shown in this slide, this is a summary of our presentation. We have identified 3 issues and we have addressed all of them, and these are the management issues, cultural issues, and post-acquisition issues. And by addressing all of these issues, we will aim to come up with a Microsoft world, that is to evaluate Bing, venture into the mobile device and cloud system, cloud system platform, and also to integrate our product. And with that, we believe that Microsoft can be an integral part of everyone's lives. Thank you very much.
Can you elaborate a bit on the total spend on the plan that you suggest, and what is the revenue that you will come out?
Thank you, Miss. We believe that for our execution part, which is the final part, our development of the mobile phone segment, of the cloud segment, the spending has already been incurred. Microsoft has already spent a large amount to acquire. Nokia, and they already have a division that's trying to venture into the cloud system. So what we're suggesting is that they upgrade these systems, give them a new sense of direction. They're no longer independent. They are together. They're trying to synchronize. The cloud will create services for the phone, and the phone will link its services to other platforms. It's just a redirection of their divisions' efforts. And the last thing would be the integration of all products. This might require investment, but we believe that Microsoft, because of the market capitalization, we have such a high market capitalization, it should be no issue to integrate all these products through software so that they sync to each other, and then they have an online platform to store their data together.
So the overall impact, what is the estimation of the impact that you will bring?
In terms of revenue?
Yes.
We will increase the sales volume and hundreds of millions. All the Nokia phones out there, all the Xboxes that are currently in the market. This will increase the user. The aim of this system is that when I have a phone, I will buy a computer because of my phone, just like some people buy Macs because they have an iPhone. So this will increase the sales of all the divisions.
But I would expect the marketing and advertising cost will also go up. And that can be enormous. So have that been factored into your calculation of total cost hourly?
Thank you for your question. Because look at it in this way. Because in terms of HR itself, we have go through our incentive-based structure. This will actually help them to actually improve their efficiency and productivity. Hence, when they improve their efficiency and productivity, indirectly this will help them to cut down their costs to the minimal level. And this will then give a more capacity for the marketing and advertising to spend more.
And we believe that even if it does incur massive costs in the short run, just like how Samsung is the largest spender in advertising their mobile phones, this is a worthy investment for Microsoft to advertise, to show the world that this is their direction, this is where they are going.
On the people side, you mentioned that let the team own the target, not by individual. And what about the downside is that if the individual does not own the problem, does not own the target, does not own the sales, and let the team own it, what about if it doesn't work? How are you going to mitigate or prevent this from happening?
Thank you for the question. First of all, the person who is running the entire project, the project manager, is the person who has innovated the said product already. And as such, he will have the drive and the passion to finish what he has already started, because this is something that he is passionate about and he's able to see it through. And also, maybe the issues of teamwork and not an unequal balance of work in the team itself, We believe that by team building and building relationships, you want to work for the team, with the team, not just for the work itself, but also because of your personal relationships.
And just to follow up on that question, I think the idea itself is interesting, getting somebody who's created an idea to actually own the project. How do you actually look into the issue in terms of matching skill sets with people in the role? So somebody good in R&D may not necessarily be a good project manager. So how would you actually address this issue?
Alright, thank you so much for your question. Okay, for example, let's just say this project manager, he has his own idea. He knows how to innovate. Now, for example, I'm going to use back the example you gave. If he's not good with R&D, he actually has the option to choose his own team members. So if I know that I'm not good at marketing, okay, I know that I need a marketing person in my team. So you get to choose the person that you think is most suitable to make this idea a success.
And another question from me, the vision that you set out, at the beginning, what sort of time frame are you looking at for Microsoft to achieve that?
When we discussed this, we sorted it out to both short-term and long-term. Short-term being less than 2 years, and long-term anywhere above. Now, for the final step, which is all this, the short-term will encompass the evaluation of Bing and the venturing into the mobile devices, because this is already where they're at. Now, the long-term, which requires more time and more investments, would be developing an integrated cloud network to host all these systems, and to develop a system that can house all these different devices from different platforms together. So this requires more investments. So this would be in the long term.
And what sort of time frame are you looking at, given your competitors are also moving, struggling ahead as well?
Maximum 4 years.
4 years.
Because the tech world moves fast. What is in today will be out in 5 years or 6 years.
Microsoft is always a technology breakthrough company. Can you elaborate more about how they could do this in terms of the smartphone and cloud to be more technology breakthrough among their competitors?
So can you repeat your question?
Yeah, the question is to see what kind of strategy you can make Microsoft to be back to a breakthrough technology company in terms of smartphone and cloud platform. In terms of that.
Thank you, sir. Now, as mentioned just now, this is why Microsoft acquired Nokia, because Nokia has what they do not have. They have the expertise in the operating system development, but they do not have the expertise in building the physical phones and tablets. That's why they acquired Nokia. And we believe that with the acquisition of Nokia, Nokia will get access to Microsoft funding, will get access to all Microsoft, to a lot of Microsoft technology. It will help Nokia build better phones that will allow Microsoft to develop software for. So this is one step Microsoft can take to enter this market, and this is what they have already been doing.
The thing is, I see now at the moment they are not very good relationship with the vendors. There's not. So how you going to turn around to have more vendors to work with Microsoft or Nokia or to make it more a leading technology in terms of the smartphone against their competitors?
So, as mentioned just now, because Microsoft we have the software that runs computers that most of the world use. The Microsoft software phones can be given better adaptability with the computer, better access, easier file transfers, easier synchronizing. So this is a bonus that only Microsoft can offer.
So thank you very much.